Order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
Trustee Carter?
Here.
Trustee Grant?
Here.
Trustee Tate?
Here.
Trustee Todd? Here. Trustee Zupan?
Here.
I will entertain a motion to go into executive session. Personnel matters pending litigation with collective bargaining matters. In review of executive board.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Trustee Zupan, second by Trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd? Yes. Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Motion carried. All three call meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call.
Yes.
Hello.
Trustee Brewer?
Here.
Trustee Carter?
Here.
Trustee Grant?
Here.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd? Here. Trustee Zupan?
Here.
Okay, next item, the consent agenda. There's a update on the consent agenda. Item A should read May 16th, and item F should be deleted. That being said, I'll accept the motion to approve the consent agenda for the executive session meeting and release them.
So moved.
You must state the actual dates.
Okay, the actual date, May 16th. Excuse me, Trustee.
I move that we approve the following executive session meeting minutes for the following dates with the understanding that we will release them to the public. May 16th, 2017, May 23rd, 2017, June 13th, 2017, June 27th, 2017, and July 11th of 2017.
There is no 16.
They changed it.
They changed it.
July 15th.
Heard the motion?
There is no May 11th. Or 16, May 16th.
We made the correction because there is no May 6th of 2017. It should be May 16th. The agenda dropped the one by mistake.
Second. I was moved by Trustee Zupan, second by Trustee Carter. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Are there any questions? Are there any questions?
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd? Yes. Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, it's a consent agenda, so wasn't that implied that it had to be all yes?
Well, he did not ask to remove anything. So can we take the vote again?
No, yes, no. You have to, if you want to vote no on any of them, you have to remove which one you want to vote no on. Can you
That's
take-
what I'm saying, so we have to start
I
voting.
have asked Trustee, which one do you want to take it off? Which one do you want to vote no on? All of them or? So you don't want this part of, okay, so you don't want to, we have to vote on them separately. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to accept the executive session meeting for May 16, 2017.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Trustee Zupan, second by Trustee Grant. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Tate.
No.
Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Trustee Zupan.
Yes.
Trustee Brewer. Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll accept the motion to accept the minutes of the executive session meeting and release them for May 23rd, 2017.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Tate.
No.
Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Trustee Zupan.
Yes.
Trustee Brewer. Yes. Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll accept the motion to accept the executive session, closed session meetings and release them for the period of June 13th, 2017.
So moved.
It's moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Trustee Zupan.
Yes.
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Somebody grab it out.
Just go out in the hall. Can we turn it off, please?
She's trying.
She's trying.
She's trying.
Maybe we can go out in the hall until it's turned off.
Way to go.
Motion is carried. I accept the motion for the executive session, closed session meeting minutes and release them for the period of June 27th.
So moved. Second.
Moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Grant. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Trustee Zupan.
Yes.
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Tate.
Motion is carried. I'll accept the motion to approve the executive session, closed session minutes and release them for the period of July 11th, 2017.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Zupan.
Yes.
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Tate. Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
I second. And I moved.
Consider agenda number 2 is to approve the executive session minutes and keep them closed. I'll ask first, are there any negative or no votes, and so we have to take them out separate. Is there any trustee that's going to say something?
I have a question. Didn't you say, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't you say, November 13th and 14th to be released? What's that?
At the next review, they.
The next, okay, all right.
Is there any trustee that does not feel they can vote yes for this consent agenda? Okay, we'll do it separate. I'll ask for a motion to approve the executive session meetings and to keep them closed for a period of June 6, 2017. I'll accept the motion.
So moved. Second.
Moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Grant. Any questions?
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Tate. Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Trustee Zupan.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Motion to approve the executive session meeting minutes for November 13th and keep them closed November 13th, 2018.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Carter. Any questions?
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll accept the motion to approve the executive session meeting minutes for December 4th, 2018, and to keep them closed.
So moved. Second.
Moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Grant. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd? Yes. Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 6. I'll ask for a motion to approve the committee meeting minutes for February 19, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Grant, second by trustee Todd. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
No.
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll accept a motion to approve the committee meeting minutes of the whole for March 5th, 2019. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Todd, second by trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
Abstain.
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 7, public comment. All questions and comments must be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter pertaining to the business of the village. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not engage in debate, comment, reply, or recall. The mayor, I will listen to all questions, and at the end I will answer. When you come up, please state your name.
Happens, it was on.
Ed Shangle. I recently showed up on the code list, violation and things. I've been working on my house, and it's gotten to be a point where I can't go any further. I can't go any further,
Is it on? I'm gonna stop.
You gotta hold it closer on.
I have a duplicate address, and these financial institutions are not allowing me to try and get any money because I have a duplicate address. I've asked the village to straighten that out for years now. Could we get someone to look at that? Every time I ask for money, it ties up with my next door neighbor's house. They're duplicate addresses. Even though they're separate houses and all that, it still shows up and causes trouble. My backyard is a constant pool. In front of my house, I have a drainage that goes three sides of my property. With that, the pipe out in front, the village removed 27 feet of that pipe and went down and did some work to the sanitary drain and buried the hole up, never put the pipe back. Since then, years later, they put the pipe back because I had water and so on going on constantly. The the pipe is back now, but the damage is done to my yard. My yard is not drained. They want me to clean my yard. I can't do any work in my yard because I have to wait 2-3 weeks for it to dry, and by the time it dries, we get more rain. It's an ongoing issue. So I can't do anything until the village makes a move to fix my problem with the drainage and to separate my house from the other address. I've even called our police, and the police turned around and told me, we don't have an address like that. I says, hey, I've been here 6 years at that time. I said, I've been here 6 years. You know, the pizza guy comes down the street, the next house, and the next house. No, you want the next house. If the mailman comes down, they go the same way. Here's your mail, here's your mail. I gotta go chase my credit card. I gotta go chase my water bill. I got my neighbor's phone bill because I'm not the next house. I got a duplicate address. So I'm at a point with code where I can't go any further with my property, with my projects until the village makes a move on these issues that I brought up to you. You can contact me at my address, you know who I am, at Schenkel, Sauk Village.
Kathy Betcher.
That's good.
I just would like to know if all department heads have gotten their wish list funds, and if so, can we get a copy of what they spent the funds on? I know you said you didn't want to, tell them what they had to spend the money on, but we would like to know what it was spent on, so that we know that it wasn't spent frivolously on hats and t-shirts, and it was spent on equipment to do their job. Thank you.
Hi, Debbie Williams. First of all, I believe on that consent agenda that you actually took a motion in a second and actually took a vote and then decided you didn't want to use the consent agenda. So actually you should have rescinded, actually changed those motions. So I'm glad to see the consent agenda back on the agenda, but everybody needs to learn how to use it. If you don't want what's on the consent agenda, it's probably good to tell the clerk ahead of time. That's number one. Number two, I do appreciate the fact that the accounts payable for March 26th is on the website, but 2017, 2018, and 2019 are still not on the website. So we're making progress. We have the latest ones on there, but we still don't have the years that have been missing. So I don't know why they can't get on the website. And also on the one that is on there, at the very bottom it says not to be distributed. The mere fact that it's on the website means that it's public knowledge, which all accounts payables should be public knowledge. And also the water bills. What is happening with the water bills in Sauk Village? Everybody's talking about they're either getting a very low bill, no bill, or an extremely high bill, and they're getting late charges, which I know the finance department is trying to work on. But could somebody please explain to us what is going on with these water bills? How long are they going to be messed up? And are we ever going to get them corrected? Because a lot of residents don't have social media. They don't come up to the village hall. They have no idea what's going on. I think letters should go out to the residents informing them what the problem has been. Item 12B, contracts approval. That's a very broad item on this agenda. As the Open Meetings Act officer for many, many years, what I would like to say to you is any trustee who votes on this item, 12B, tonight, you will be probably most likely in violation of the Open Meetings Act. So mindfully, before you vote on 12B, remember the fact that it's very broad, very vague. You are not stating what the contracts are for in any way, shape, or form, who they're for, what the position for, and what the dollar amount is. So I just would like to make, before you do violate that Open Meetings Act, I just wanted to make you aware of that. And thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.
Judy Castier. I also would like to comment on the accounts payable. As you already know, and it really doesn't have to be brought up, but when things are done the way they're being done, I guess they have to be reminded. There are people all over Sauk Village that don't use social media. I'm one of them. Getting rid of accounts payable here at these meetings is not good for the people that do not get on social media. I'm also tired of social media for FOIA request answers. The last one I asked for, I was told by a very competent person, even somebody that's good on the computer would have a problem finding what they're telling you is clearly stated online. And I don't go online for that stuff, and I do not appreciate it. But if I have to, I will get somebody to do it for me and continue with the FOIAs. And I also, when you tell somebody that they have to pay for a FOIA because of too many pages, and then you send them to them redacted, that's stupid. Totally stupid to charge somebody for redacted pages. I also would like to comment on 12B, contract approvals. I have no idea what the contracts are for any more than anybody else out here does. But I'm here to tell you, I voted for you, Derek, and I meant it. I wanted you to make mayor. All of you trustees sitting up there are sitting up there for a reason. You have everybody in this room tonight are here for a specific reason. And if you don't want to listen to us, you don't belong up there. We're the residents.
Less than a minute.
1 minute?
Less than that.
Less than a minute? Everybody in favor of everything, stand up.
In favor of everything.
Well, in favor of what I just said. Now, we the people are telling you, the trustees, we don't want this. We want to be aware of what's happening within our village. We want to feel a part of it. Your paycheck comes out of our tax money. And we want to be heard. You promised we would be heard. Don't turn your backs on us again.
Pat Couch. Thank you, Judy, for mentioning my FOIA. I did put in some FOIAs back in March. And after putting that FOIA in for the 3 different items that I requested, they had to ask for an extension of time, which that's fine. That extension came and went. Then I get a statement stating that it's going to cost me over $120 to get the information that I requested. Not a problem. I went up and I paid the $120. This is the receipt for the $120, Mr. Sinoway. I asked for all the information to be sent to me. When I picked up the documents, there was a stack of papers, which were sign-in sheets. I'm not dumb when it comes to the fire department. I know what you guys do. There was a stack. Every single item on that stack of papers was redacted. All it was a call-in sheet. So is there a reason that you had to redact that call-in sheet? I'm finding, as I'm going through the stack of 700 and some pages, there's quite a few things missing. I wonder why. So it has gone now to the Attorney General for review. And I'm not finished with it yet, but it is going to be under review. So I would like to have the missing information, or we'll let them handle it. So thank you very much. Okay, Barbara,
Sauk Village. Oh, yeah, I got a big mouth anyway. Barbara Stearns, Sauk Village. My question, if anybody's paying attention up there, I would like to know how often the drop box out here is checked for water bills. I have usually putting mine in the drop box because I don't want to come in the building and be mistreated and embarrassed by the staff. Why, last billing period for the south side, did it take 14 days for the check to get to the bank? I'm not the only one that had that problem with that drop box. Some of them are getting late charges. They were in the drop box in plenty of time. Do we have to come in and get a receipt to prove that we've made the payment? And I would like a truthful answer as to how often that drop box is checked. I really don't want to hear, I don't know, I'll have to check on it. If you're not going to pull the payments out of there, then get the drop box out and recycle it, please.
Mary Escobedo. So 2 weeks ago, when I was up here talking about incompetent, then you decided to change things, or not change it, but twist, I should say. Derek, talking to you, you twisted things and talked about we were name calling and you were not going to go there with us. You were the one that starts that stuff, just like you say, we're not going to go back and forth, we're not going to debate. But you always want to debate. You want to answer statements, but you won't answer questions. You need to figure out the difference between those two. And like I say, at the end, when you go to answer in a roundabout way, and you really don't answer the residents' questions, you need to do a better job. Okay? So if you remember when I was talking about incompetent, you were the one that said you hired Mary Clark because you felt sorry for her. You said you wanted me to talk to her so that she can act professional. You don't remember that now, do you? Hold your head, because you said all that. And while I'm talking about things that you said, as you go around telling people that you need to keep your circle close, you should, first of all, they don't want your advice because they don't appreciate or know that you're not running the village that you're supposed to be leading. You're not. Secondly, you should take your own advice because you yourself said that Joe Rizawati and your wife, Juanita Burgess, didn't want you to win. They wanted you to lose. You don't remember saying that either, right? But you did. Thank you. And I'll be back up as long as you keep talking on social media and bad-mouthing the residents. I'm going to be back up here too. And again, you need to remember, we put you in, we can put you out.
Linda Kimbrell. Derek, when you were in the first election, I did not vote for you because of the bashing you did against Mayor Haynes at the time, which I thought was pretty underdog of you. I thought you were better than that, but you proved yourself wrong, so I voted for Hanks. Well, this election, you did so much better, kept Joe Rizawati out of the loop, and you won. You shook my hand over at Rick over in the parking lot when you said, thanks for voting me. I'll make all the changes. Yes, I'll get those dead trees cut out of your driveway, which now put several dents in my car because the trees are still there. I'm afraid to walk into my house at night because we don't have any cops on duty because you won't hire them. This has become the most corrupt town I've ever heard in my life. I'm embarrassed to tell people where I live and to think I moved back to this town 8 years ago, because Joe Wiswater said, yeah, Burgess is gonna get in. It's gonna be so much better. It's gone down to hell. Hell's better than this. I'm ashamed to be here. And you've broken every promise you've made to everybody. I'm afraid to have my grandkids out here. They can't even play outside because of all the gunshots out here. But we don't have police on the streets. Where are they at? We don't have the money because it's in your pocket. It's in Joe Wiswater's pocket. Explain it. Explain why I can't have my grandkids in this town. Because I'm afraid that somebody's going to drive by and shoot them. And it's because of you, Derek. It's because of you. It's because of you. It's because of you. Because you guys cannot lift your heads up and make the right choices. You do what he tells you to because you're afraid of him. Everybody who works in this town is afraid of him because they're afraid they're going to get fired. Well, you know what? I'm afraid to live here. And I'll tell you right now, if Jasinski hadn't got in, if Debbie Williams hadn't got in, the bank could take my house. I'll leave. Because this town is not worth living in anymore with you. And I will stomp all the way to heaven the day you are out. Worst decision I've ever made. And I have an ex-husband, you're still worse.
I think everybody up there knows me. It's Mike Bartnicki. I'm retired from here. This is a bad joke. This whole meeting is. This is really a joke. I've listened to many of your meetings over the last several months from home.
Put your phone away, pay attention.
And I got to tell you, yeah, it would be nice if you paid attention, Mr. Mayor. Since I'm supposed to be addressing you. Hello? My goodness, thank you. I'm still a resident. My gosh, what a joke. You guys were all elected to do something. Didn't you get the message in this last election? You lost. It's over. Derek, resign. Pay attention, please. By the way, I want to know where my W-2 is, the corrected one. Can you hear me, Derek? I can't see you looking up at all.
Excuse me, sir. What happens is the mayor takes notes as
I know he does.
No, as people are talking, and then after all of the comments are made, then he responds. That wasn't happening when you were employed here, but that's what's happening now, so that's why he's looking down.
Was that on my time?
Yeah, it is. I'll give you that time.
Do you know how much it was?
20 seconds. I'll give you a whole minute.
My gosh, this group is a joke. Can't you see it? How long did you guys spend in an executive session back there? What the heck was it about? I don't even want to know if you want to know the truth. It's most certainly not something legal. Beth, you came to my house and wanted to be voted for? I gotta tell you, what I'm seeing tonight,
He said, Nope.
Out of all of you, how many of you were actually elected?
None.
Linda was. Bernice was. You were. That's it, isn't it? Did I miss somebody? Trustee Tate was. Excuse me, Colonel. I do recognize you there. I apologize. Your term's over. Thank you for coming back after being sick, by the way. And I'm not watching a lot. I don't know if you're playing my time's up at the time you want to. I want you to resign. Your whole plan for progress, it's a piece of BS. You got rid of everybody. You can't get water bills out. You can't get the payroll done right. You put it to ADP. They can't get W-2 out right. I'm the one that had to call in and say, why don't I have a correct W-2? Give me a break. I got W-2s out always on the very first payroll after the end of the year. ADP can't even get a corrected one out by April 15th. Hello? Is anybody home? How many times did you have me in sessions because I did something wrong? You want to know something? I got the proof that Dr. Strouder lied on that first time you had me in. And I've got written proof, and she knows it. And while I was an employee, I promised you in that meeting that we would forget about it, but I'm not an employee anymore. So why do you still have her hired when she wanted to be fired for calling her a liar? Can you answer that one? Oh, good.
HR working overtime? Okay, answer. Answer the question.
Okay, must be doing something right. It's the only way you can, I mean, disrespect. You know, I understand that, you know, you may not respect me, but respect the office that I hold, and that's mayor.
No, you're not there. First, you have to be mayor.
I'm asking you, okay, first of all, and I'm going to say this one time. I listened to everybody's comment, didn't make a statement, didn't say nothing, I wrote it down. That's what I do. But if I'm going to give you an answer and you're going to rebut it, then I'm not going to answer no more questions. Simple as that. I've asked you to, I've asked for your respect, and I'm going to give you respect and not talk when you're talking. So if you ask a question and you want an answer, and you're going to go back and forth, then I won't do it. As far as the work, the person, as far as the address, that's something I'm sure they would have to, you'd have to go to, you would have to go to the post office and find out. The village cannot do anything with addresses, that's the post office. So as far as that's concerned, and if you have code violation and you're saying that you can't take care of those violations due to the work that's done in your yard, well, I'll check on that. But as far as the address, I can tell you right now that you have to go to the post office and talk to them and let them know why your mail's not going there, or why they don't recognize you or recognize that address. Or if there's a conflicting address, the post office is the one that takes care of that. The village has nothing to do with that aspect of it. As far as the wish list, yes, the department heads did get a wish list. What did they spend it on? I can get a list from them. They did have a list. I think I still have a list of what they actually spent it on. And what they actually spent on their wish list, and that's not a problem. Accounts payable on the website. Accounts payable is going to be, and I said it last meeting, the last board meeting that we had, that accounts payable will go out after it's been voted on. So it's for the trustees to vote on what's going on. And so it'll be voted, it'll be available at the front desk and at the website. I don't know what else I can do but make it available that way.
Previous years.
Are you guys through?
No.
That's not going to happen.
In 2 years.
So, as far as the accounts payable, it'll be available at the front desk the day after it's been voted on, which will probably be Wednesday. The drop box is empty every day. I think twice, in the morning and in the afternoon before they go home. So it's empty every day. If you have a problem and you've been given a late notice and you can show that your check was written and sent in at that time, you shouldn't be charged late charges. If it is, please bring it up and we'll take care of that. I'm sorry to hear that people don't want to live here anymore. I mean, We are hiring more police officers. The trees are going to be cut down. We're going to bring in part-timers. That's going to be starting hopefully by the end of this month, beginning of next month. But to label this town as the most corrupt town, I take offense to that. I mean,
You brought it that way.
reports of officers. I don't have one. Madam Clerk, do you have a report?
I sure do, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry for being
The first thing I would like to do is to provide an elections update. It has been one of the most interesting elections since I have moved to Sauk Village, and we are still just under just a little bit of tenseness as we have a tie for trustees. However, I communicated with the Cook County Clerk's office relative to a tie that we noted over the weekend, and she informed that her office has until April the 16th to count any provisional or outstanding ballots. So they cannot do anything until the 16th. From time to time, if you look at the Cook County website, you can see that some of the numbers go up and down for certain people. The Cook County's Clerk's office will take care of the tie. Now, when I talked to Colleen in that office, she did not tell me how they break a tie, but some of you have told me how they break ties, and I'm like, oh, that is just truly interesting. But the entire election will be official on the 23rd. So when we have Student Government Day, one of our students will be announcing who our actual trustees are, so I think that would be quite cool. Student Government Day is on 4/23. I'm just going to remind all of you who's within my voice to remember that day, because just as you are packing the house today, it would really be great for you to come out and see our youngsters from Rickover represent all of us that's on the board. And I'm going to say to all the department heads and the trustees, remember, I need your reports. See, someone said it. I need your reports. Not the day of, not the day before. If I can get it Tuesday, Wednesday, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. The day of would be a disservice to the youngsters because they really need an opportunity to go over your report and to have someone assist them if they don't know how to spell a word or whatever. Excuse me. I mentioned to you about the dinner dance that we're hosting for not just Rickover students, but for any student that's in the 7th and 8th grade who resides in the village. We have reached out to Sandridge School District and some of the other ones, and we were promised that those students would be informed, and so I'm really hoping that we will have them. But guess what, people? I don't do this often, but I have my hand out. I'm begging, because we have no funds to offer the dinner dance, but we're doing it. And when I say we, I'm talking about the Sauk Village Community Partners, which are our 3 taxing bodies, the schools, the school districts, and the schools. And if you would endeavor any $5, $10, $100, whatever you would want to contribute, you would make the check out, believe it or not, to the village of Sauk Village. And I'll work on getting the money, Mr. Finance Director, so that we can make the payments, because we are giving them a sit-down dinner where they will be served. And it is a nice formal fare. If anyone wants to work in the kitchen to help us, you're more than welcome. We appreciate it. May I? I don't know how well you can see.
Sorry, Madam Clerk, when is that dinner dance again?
The dinner dance, I'm sorry, is April the 26th.
Thank you.
Starting at 6, so if you're going to assist in the kitchen, we would probably want you there at least by 4. We would want you to wear a white top, black pants, and we have a black apron for you, and hairnet and gloves. Mary Escobedo, I really would love to see you and Mama Z there.
No, thank you. No.
Let's move on. How many of you can see this picture right here? Can you see it? Probably not real good, but you're going to see it real up close and personal for a whole year, because this is going to be your next village sticker. For the 2018-2019, the theme was Salute to Learning. And what I have in my hand are the four youngsters who placed. These are from Rickover students as well as Strasburg students. We went with 3rd graders to 6th graders this year, and that was our winning entry right there. How many of you know that animal tags were due April 1st and that they are in Village Hall? How many of you have animals? I know you're not going to admit. Okay, those of you who raised your hand and didn't raise it the first time, you know what we would like for you to do. And that is to go to Village Hall and get your animal tags for your little fur babies. There's a couple of other things. You know, when I first came on board, I asked to do the website, trustees, and you guys had me go through a number of hoops, and I jumped through them all so that I could do the website. And then 6 to 7 months later, the mayor said I wasn't moving fast enough. So he took that away from me and gave it to another trustee. Well, the website still hasn't been updated. And so what I would like consideration, and it does not have to be decided right now, but I would like consideration for the website to be placed back under the village clerk's office. And that would go right along with the next thing that I would say, thank you. And that is Code Red was approved. And now we're working on marketing strategies. We had the kickoff today where I met with the company and I made certain that each one of you and your homes and residents was included in this map, in this circle, and I really thank Joe Rizabati because he helped to make certain that Beth, your house was left out. And so we made certain that your house was etched in as well so that all of you are part of the Code Red. And I'm not saying what Code Red is right now because that's part of the marketing strategy. Those of you who follow the Facebook page, Sauk Village E-News, if you look today, you saw nothing but Code Red, and you probably wondered, what is Code Red? I want you to try to think about it. I want you to get excited about it, and I want to raise the interest so that when I bring it to you, you'll be gung-ho, and you will be signing up. And along that same line, Mr. Mayor, we definitely need to identify those department heads or to whom you would want to grant access. That is the next step with the company. So if you can let me know, I would need their name, email, home address, mobile phone number, and we can have up to 5 people. I have also asked that they put a little piece in place so that if anything was to happen to whomever is the primary, that they will be able to override it so that you will always have access to the Code Red program. Lastly, that I would like to say to you trustees and department heads, May 1st will be here before you know it. It will be here before you know it, and your statement of economic interest would not have been completed. Thank you, Chief Malcolm White, for sharing your evidence that you've completed it. Joe Rizawati took care of his the first day, and also Trustee Todd and her spouse. The rest of you, including me, we need to get on the stick and take care of it. Okay, I didn't get a copy. So that's a come, I didn't know that you did it. But for those of you who did, I commend you. The rest of you, please take care of the business. And that completes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Village Engineer, Mr. Jim Simon.
Thank you, Mayor. Robinson has reviewed the bid documents for the elevated tank riser replacement project. Only one bid was received, and the bid price was significantly higher than the original bid. The low bidder from the original bid did not submit a bid, even though we contacted this contractor and 3 others to notify them of the bid opportunity. We are discussing options with the village staff and will prepare a bid recommendation for the next board meeting. And then secondly, clerk was kind enough to put a bunch of these flyers on the back table. The MWRD and IEPA are hosting a household hazardous waste collection at Brookfield Zoo on April 13th. So this is to safely dispose of unwanted, potentially dangerous, and environmentally harmful household products. And this will help the village comply with its stormwater permit as well as help the environment, obviously. And that concludes my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Treasury report, Mr. Anthony Finch.
Mr. Mayor, Trustee, Madam Clerk, before I get started, I want to go over something that I have prepared. I think we need a cyber audit because I believe our internet has been hacked. And the reason I say that is because I cannot believe that an email that I sent strictly to the officials that was about transparency, about a mistake that happened in the water department, was somehow leaked to Facebook. It's my assumption that elected officials are held to a higher standard, and I assume they consider themselves professional. But I'm glad that an email that I addressed to those same officials back in March about how a resident who had a $12 water bill was cut off, but a resident who has a $1,200 water bill was not cut off, and I talked to him 3 times, and he said in the past, it was taken care of internally. Normally when I'm told something taken care of, you either pay it or you get on a payment plan. He chose to delete it. But that email wasn't somehow leaked. So in the name of transparency, as I've stated since I've been here, about a mistake that was made, it was put on Facebook. But I have a question to ask everyone. Who among us is God? Because from my belief, God is the only one that's flawless and have no mistakes. But people made the comment that how can this mistake happen? Not only did they do that, they implied that this was the first time this mistake has ever been made. That is so untrue. Let the record reflect that back in 2018, the summer of 2018, a mistake was made regarding the water bill, where the water bill was tripled. But more unexplainable than that was in December 2017, a water bill went out that was $5,000. Not only did the person that was holding this position that I'm currently temporarily holding now address the matter, but they threatened to cut the person's water bill off in the middle of December. So again, who among us is God? A comment was made on Facebook that I was incompetent. So I had to research that word. According to Webster Dictionary, incompetent states, Webster states that incompetent is defined as not efficient in performance of a function. So I asked, in my functions, I've never been indicted. I've never erased $3 million in reserves. I've never had $1 million in unpaid bills. I've never forgotten to add a vendor to a report that was given to Cook County. I've never increased a municipality deficit. I've never implied that I took money under the table. I'm offended that somebody would hide behind Facebook, and this is a blunt, blatant defamation of my character. So I guess paying $1.5 million in 16 months makes me incompetent. Yet the previous administrator signed and approved a 14-year contract for garbage collection because they couldn't figure out how to pay that one bill. So I guess working with the police chief to get 5 cars for the price of 4 makes me incompetent. I guess receiving $64,000 back from AT&T for what they was overcharging the village makes me incompetent. But yet, this village signed an agreement from 3 different companies to have internet at the same time. Unlike the previous staff, I've been willing to stay afterwards to talk to residents about finance. I've even stayed after 5 o'clock to meet with a resident. I've opened my office to meet anytime with any trustees or resident. I don't do Facebook, and like a resident previously stated, don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. To comment on Facebook when I made myself available is a cowardly act. So please, don't write that I'm mad or that I'm angry. Because when I've got letters of resignation from vendors, elected officials, auditors, you don't get upset when those that don't know you think they can judge you. If I'm incompetent with a master's degree, for those that made that comment, please apply for the finance director job. Because again, like I stated before, I'm here on a recommendation. Based on the report of auditors that you guys have in your packet, you will see there was a lot of questions that they asked before I got here. So let me give you some facts. Facts. There was funds for mowing grass that wasn't budgeted. And later, the grant that was to approve the mowing of the grass was canceled by the state. I heard somebody mention about W-2 being a problem. Because of that mistake, it was $27,000 mistake that I employed had to get corrected with the IRS. I track my grants and I account for all those expenses within my budget. Fact, a fire grant was canceled because former personnel did not submit a report. Fact, a body camera grant that was awarded was rescinded because the personnel did not send in the final paperwork. Fact, village money was removed from AT&T, from an ATM machine.
What?
But I've never been accused of something like that. Fact, in 2016, the auditor wrote, there is a long, outstanding, unpaid water bill. What was the policy and procedures that was in place then? How did those high balances not get corrected? As stated by one of the trustees in February, in just one area of town, there was over 200 houses on the shut-off list, with over $320,000 in uncollected revenue. If this happened in 2016 and I was told to address in 2018, what was the previous people doing before I got here? We now have policies and procedures in place to address our balances. So yes, some residents are going to be upset. In your packet, you have a copy of a water bill of a deceased lady that died in 2015. As of 4/1/2018, her water bill is $1,300. So I asked, who looked at that water bill for the last 4 years to realize that that person did not live there? But yet, you'll see in that note that it was not taken care of. Fact, in 2014, the general fund was $2 million in hole. As of 2018, the village is still $2 million in hole. Fact, look at all my budgets from any municipalities I've been in, you will see significant improvement year to year. So does that make me incompetent? Fact, as part of any administration, I've never sued my co-workers or elected officials. This is going on now as it did in 2011. I've never publicly complained about a manager placing their finger in my face, not once, but twice, therefore creating a hostile environment. But I took it like a professional and I did my job, because that's what I'm here to do, not to make friends. In fact, in February, there was over 800 homes with estimated reading. Once again, why wasn't it addressed before I got here? Now that I'm addressing the problem, I'll become the problem. We have and we will continue to address it. In fact, when it was mentioned that AP list was being approved without time to review those invoices, I changed the policy. I made those invoices and AP lists available 1 week prior to a council meeting, like tonight. In fact, only one trustee has came to my office to look at those invoices. They are in this binder. They've been like that for the last 3 weeks. So what was all that? Smoke and mirrors? Fact, for the last several years, the board has received a financial document that only 2 of the trustees up there brought it to my attention that they noticed something was wrong. But I'm incompetent because I caught that right away. Because individuals would rather complain and not correct, I will provide 2 reports, one the old way and one the corrected way. That then they can decide which one to use. Because I don't want people saying he's changing everything. But if you change for the better, why are you complaining? Let me address something else. Trustee Grant asked me to look into something about the water from Lake Michigan, because that has been brought up several times. These are all facts that can be verified. It would cost about $19 million to get connected to Lake Michigan water. It would cost a resident on average about $105 per month in their water bill. The main problem with not getting Lake Michigan water is the Illinois Department of Natural Resources have not given Sauk Village a water allocation to get the water. But the prior administration did take out a loan to a tune that the village still owed $800,000 to EPA, which means that, based on what I've been told, water gets sampled every day, every week, it gets sampled. So therefore, if that's happening and EPA is not complaining, the assumption could be made that the water is safe. Trustee Zupan asked me about the AP list, and she was right. I did make changes, but I asked her a question. It is on the internet, and that was satisfactory. But when I look on the internet, as somebody brought up tonight, the last AP list on the internet was in December 2016. So once again, what was the last person in this position doing? Trustee Todd asked me about fire hydrant. Surprising question, because that's not my department. However, like I told you before, I do not run away from any challenges. So I found out there's 465 fire hydrants in the village of Sauk Village. Years ago, there were 67 fire hydrants that was broken. Based on what I do know, it costs $2,500 to get a brand new fire hydrant. With that number, it's going to be $167,000 to get all, if it's still a number, 67 fire hydrant fixed. So that's something you might want to consider to put in your budget. And that would come out of the water fund. Trustee Brewer, you've asked me over 25 questions. I have some of the information you requested, but I've not been able to get all the information that relate to what you asked me. I even looked for Public Service Committee reports to understand what the previous financial director had provided you. Because as I stated to you before, you was given incomplete information, which made it seem like certain members was not doing their job efficiently. So what I'm going to suggest, like I've done with the staff in this department, is watch. There's a webinar that will explain how government accounting actually work, how fund balance actually work, so that those questions that have been asked, I can understand exactly what is needed to get to you before. So that's what I wanted to comment about. The water bill did go out late. It was a mistake. It was corrected. Again, as I thought I was doing by letting the trustees know beforehand what was going on. But apparently, maybe people don't really want transparency. It's a talking point. I asked you guys before, let me do my job. I don't get caught up in the political stuff. I don't get caught in the personal stuff. And I don't get caught in the racial stuff. I'm just here to do my job. If you want to challenge me on my numbers, challenge me. Like I said before, I've had these invoices for 2 weeks and nobody asked about it. So please leave me off Facebook. If you have a question, you think I'm not doing my job, come train me. I'm more than willing. I have a master's degree, so apparently you might feel that's not enough. So come train me. And that's all I want to say about that, Mayor. In your packet, you have the accounts payable disbursement list. You will see that there's roughly $158,000 in accounts payable that needs to get approved, of which $29,000 was already approved and was sent via wire to pay the loan back, to pay a loan payment to Illinois EPA. You guys can send me an email to confirm that I can do the wire, so it's approved. Also in your packet, you will see an aging report. If you look at the last page of the aging report, there's $132,000 of outstanding bills. However, if you look at your disbursement list, we are paying $128,000. So there's roughly $4,000 of bills that, as of this week, still remain to be paid. The third packet that you guys have is the particular water bill with history that I spoke of. that's $1,300 that for whatever reason went unnoticed as far as why we kept billing somebody that was deceased. You can confirm that by the death certificate that I attached to the back. The next report you'll see is actual numbers prepared by your auditors that you pay roughly $65,000 to $70,000 a year for, and you will see from 2014 through 2018, you have missed the budget every single year. As I get ready to prepare the budget this year, I'm going to recommend that we do not exceed $5.6 million because over the last 4 years, you have not received more than $5.6 million. The next report that you guys have is a small snapshot of what the auditors found as financial weakness within the financial department and other departments that I oversee currently. And if you see year to year, those correction has not changed. So again, as I make policy changes, it's to address some of these concerns that the auditors have expressed before I arrived here. The next and very last one, I think you guys have in your packet, is a detailed report. I was asked to show a detailed report, but in my research of finding out exactly what the detailed report you was asking for, I noticed that in December of 2018, there was $54,000 adjusted to the garbage, there was $68,000 adjusted to the sewer, and there was $118,000 adjusted to the water. So again, what was those people doing before I got here? And that, Mayor, Trustee, Madam Clerk, concludes all my report. Oh, the one last thing I meant to say, I'm so sorry. You guys have a cash balance sheet because it was also stated that no one knows where the money is at. This is as of today. Again, as I've stated numerous times before, I do not give you information that I cannot support and provide documentation. So the cash balance that you see in front of you is as of around 6 o'clock this afternoon. Any questions?
I have a comment. Mr. Fitz, I want to thank you for some of this information. I have been working with this since May 2017. We haven't been able to get any reports. The stuff we was given, we knew it wasn't right. And you know what? I'm just too elated. I mean, because we knew somebody was in that office and they didn't know what they were doing. You know, so we appreciate you giving us these answers. But for us as trustees to sit up here and get information we know is not right, and then you want us to ask to pay for something, it's not right. And so only thing I can say again is I agree with you. We were misinformed. We got all kind of stuff that didn't make sense. And I'm not accounting for anything, but we knew we was getting information that wasn't right, and it's going to take you a long road to figure that stuff out. It's a big mess back there. And if you only got 25 questions, I forgot to give you a couple then. So, you know, I mean, I'm on it. You know, they can't tell you I'm not on it. And if I don't understand something, I'm going to always ask you. Please explain that. That's what our job's too. We need to find out where the money is and what's going on. Don't take offense to anybody, but that's what we were hired to do, to find out where the money is, and we appreciate it. That's the end of my comment.
Mr. Finch, is that part of the finance? Okay.
Yep, that's financial treasury.
Okay, thank you. Fire Department, Captain Severance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Fire Department responded to 23 calls for service for the period from March 21st through April 3rd. We had no major incidents in town. However, we did assist Pembroke with a large brush fire that lasted over 3.5 hours. This is a reminder that even though we have had some rain, many areas are still dry. Small brush fires can turn into large incidents. Please be careful with smoke material, as a discarded cigarette can cause a major fire. The Fire Department will host their annual pancake breakfast with the Easter Bunny on Palm Sunday, which is this Sunday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're also having our golf outing, which will be Saturday, June 29th at Lincoln Oaks. This concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Police Department, Chief Malcolm White.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There will be no report as far as accuracy on the calls for service because the system was down tonight. However, I would like to remind the residents that every third Thursday, including this third Thursday of this month, of the 18th, there will be the community policing meeting and I welcome everyone to come out.
What time?
It'll be at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Third Thursday, every third Thursday, community policing. That is my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Emergency Management Director Alan Maverick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board. From the time period of March 25th till April 8th, EMA responded to 12 calls of service. We had 3 fire alarms, 3 brush fires, 1 gas leak investigation, 1 auto accident, 1 smoke investigation, and 1 traffic control per our Sauk Village Police Department for a semi-block in a roadway on 223rd. We also had 2 assists to other agencies, both of them to South Chicago Heights. One was for a smoke investigation in a building, and the other one, EMA was called out for police department coverage for securing an area for the fatal accident that was on 26th and Chicago Road. We were out there for approximately 5 to 6 hours on that one. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works Director Kevin Weller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few items here. Staff has replaced the storm drain pipe at 1771 223rd Place. The driveway is still waiting to be replaced. The asphalt plants are not open yet. We're hoping in the next week or so they will open with the weather conditions changing. Staff will also be out prepping landscaping locations. These are all landscaping areas that we have dug up in the past. Anywhere from removing concrete to cutting off the areas to be prepped for asphalt or concrete work. Any stumps that are in the sites that will be removed. This will be ongoing due to some of the dig operations that we're going to be getting into. The lift truck, as I reported the last 2 reports, the truck, they found the problem with the trucks. It ends up being the wiring harness in the boom itself. We're hoping they'll have it fixed by Friday and we'll have the truck back next week. This is definitely hampering most of our overhead work, which includes tree removals and some street light work that we're behind on. Also, Water Department has the drop off of the van, should be dropped off tomorrow. The new van we bought this year, it's finally done. We also have received quotes for the decal work for both vehicles. The 2019 Explorer will go in on the 16th to have that one decaled. The Water Department also is starting some projects. These are in locations kind of near the 223rd Street project. This is an offspurt of that. The first job will be 1731 222nd Place. That is 1 6-inch valve and 1 fire hydrant. The next location will be 22138 Prairie. That's 1 fire hydrant. That's 22262 Cornell. That's 1 6-inch gate valve. 1691 222nd Place. 1 fire hydrant. 1795 222nd Place. 1 6-inch gate valve. And 1772 222nd Place. That's 1 fire hydrant. This is part of one project. The first half will give us the assistant with the valve replacement to do all the other work. This will be done in stages, so as residents are affected, they will be notified. If there's any boilers that will be out, each individual resident that's affected will receive a letter passed out to them when the boiler is in effect and when it will be lifted. Staff has also been out picking up a lot of garbage around town. I'm not sure what it is, but there seems to be a lot more than in the past. We're just asking residents if they can assist us every day around their own homes to pick up the debris. Please do not throw it into the streets. This does go over to the storm sewers, and during rain events, which we've had this year, even in the wintertime, this backs up the storm sewers, which will flood the streets, and if they're flooded enough, will enter the homes. We also have received 180 yards of our play-safe mulch. That was from the amended budget. Also, items on the amended budget that we're currently in the works with is a gas island upgrade. This will upgrade our old 20-year-old system to a more modern fob system. We also have 10 picnic tables that we're building, and they'll be placed out in the back when we're completed. And the last one at this point right now is we have 2 welcome signs that are at Route 30, and one is at the McDonald's coming into town. Those rotted away in the last couple of years. Part of the amended budget was to get those replaced. Those are in the process right now. This year's schedule will be a little different for their street sweeping and other events. The street sweeper has been out early this year due to some of the storm events we've had, so they have been out in front of some of the pothole patching. The hydrant flush, the first flush of the year, will be on 422. This will be on the south side of town, south of Sauk Trail, west of Torrance Avenue, and it will be starting around 8 a.m. in the morning, and the first day it will complete by 8 p.m. And if we have to continue, that will continue into the next day until completed. And that ends my report.
Thank you.
Got a comment. Mr. Weller, and I want to make sure I heard this right. I heard Mr. Finch said that we're gonna try to put $167,000 in the budget for fire hydrants. Am I not right?
He said you recommended.
Recommend 167,000 for fire hydrants?
If there's 67 fire hydrants need to be fixed, it'll take about $167,000.
So we're gonna try to put that in the budget?
That'll be a decision on you guys.
Oh, okay. You heard it right.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. So, Mr. Weller, thank you for, actually, he gave us a fire hydrant out of service list, so which I appreciate this because I think we've all been asking for this for some time. I do have a question though. So on each of the problems, you know, you have various, different, issues such as stem broke, cap stuck, like, so we don't need to replace the whole actual fire hydrant itself. So like, if there's a cap stuck or stem broke, do we have like an estimate of how much something like that would cost? Because, again, granted, we don't need $167,000 because it's not all fully functional, right? There are just some things that are like, can be easily fixed, I'm sure.
Yes, there's also different designations, and the fire hydrant list is basically an ongoing list of hydrants as we go into our flushing season. We fix some, we break some more, so the list is constantly going down and going back up. But some of the conditions, the broken stem ones are old hydrants that cannot be repaired anymore. There's no parts for those to be able to be bought at this point, so those are replacements. Something in a condition where a op nut or a cap is stuck or there's a missing port cap, some of those are replaceable. Some of the hydrants we cannot get parts for. Some of the ones we're repairing, we're parting out. The operation nuts we're having a problem with in a couple sections of town. They're being stolen off the hydrants. Those are on hydrants that we cannot get parts for, some of them.